Hey everybody, long time no see ya. I'm just going to come out and say it, you probably will not watch this video to the end because it is long and it is a very uncomfortable subject. I don't blame you for wanting to skip this one. So I'm just going to make a summary of what I'm going to talk about right here in the beginning. I am going to be talking about a situation that's developing between Crimsonender and Patricia Taxon. Crimsonender eventually made a 5-hour video about Patricia Taxon, about she's a shitty person, I guess. And he eventually unlisted it and has apologized for this video. So the video I am making is not about Patricia Taxon. I do not know her, I do not follow her. I am making this video about Crimsonender. So I am going to argue that Crimsonender does not deserve any forgiveness and he should not be trusted to be covering any kind of internet celebrity / sub-celebrity, especially if they are a transgender woman, for 3 reasons. The first one is that Crimsonender has misled us about his capabilities of analyzing people, of his knowledge of mental health in general. The second one is that this is something that has happened before. He has covered drama, regretted it, started covering again. It's not unrepentant, this will repeat. And the third one is that he frequently associates and collaborates with people that are comfortable with lying about transgender women. So, let's talk about it. But I'm going to throw here a little bit of mea culpa because I am not being a perfect person to cover the subject, because the truth is that I already knew about this Patricia Taxon situation way back in the beginning of the year. I was covering this New Yorker video and she mentioned Crimsonender and Ant, those two often collaborate together, and I decided to check them out, to see what they're all about. And I noticed in Crimsonender's video list the fucking 5-hour Patricia Taxon video. I opened it, it's just like, the video was Discord comment, like, okay, I'm not gonna fucking watch this. I'm not gonna watch this fucking 5-hour video, so I decided to read the doc. And that doc that was in the fucking description was fucking awful. It was absolutely terrible. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk about this. I don't like when people lie about other people in the internet. I can see that this is a bunch of bullshit and I'm going to talk about it. And I did record a video that I'm going to splice in this one. Sometimes you will notice that is the older video because I have a shittier haircut. And I did talk about it. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to actually watch the 5-hour video and give my comments on that. But I didn't, for several reasons. Well, first of all, is that I didn't want to. I didn't want to see him talking shit for 5 hours. I don't know what to tell you. And the second reason is that I eventually had a health issue, a serious one. I had to get away from doing videos for a while and talking about stressful topics. And I also didn't know if this was the direction that I wanted to take this channel, because I don't like talking about drama. I'm not a drama channel. I didn't know if I wanted to put my little horsey in the fight, because I am a small channel and it might not even make a positive difference anyway. But eventually I realized that I knew that something fucked up had happened and I didn't do anything. I am making this video now though, because it's better late than never, right? And I also have additional information with the power of hindsight. Now that I am in the future, I can actually talk about what happened in the past and what came out of it. But if you want to judge me for not stepping in before to defend Patricia Taxon and to accuse Crimsonender, that is completely fine. I understand you. You are free to disconsider all my opinions in this matter. But as I said, better late than never, and I decided that I am not going to keep my mouth shut anymore. Let's talk about what I said in order. The first one is that Crimsonender has lied to us, or grossly misled, or has misled himself into believing he's a much more competent commentator on subject than he truly is. Well, I do say that, but I don't actually know Crimsonender's competence. What I know is what he wrote in his Google Doc. Yeah, I do not follow this man. I do not read his Tumblr, his Twitter, whatever. I don't. So I don't know if he has ever dropped hints about what he does for a living, about his past experiences in mental health. All that I have is what he chose to disclose in the doc. And before we go any further, I just want to clarify something here. Crimsonender has stated that the doc was not meant to be used as like a source of information or something, that it was just something to log in some info that they were using in the video, except that he decided to link it in the description. It's weird. It feels that he's dodging responsibility for making a shitty document that he decided to make public. That was his decision. As far as I know, no one put a fucking gun to his head and told him to link it in the description. And if he truly believed that more people were going to watch the fucking 5-hour video instead of reading the doc linked in his description, he is fucking stupid. How could you seriously not have foreseen that people would try to see a written, summarized version of events before deciding to waste 5 hours of their lives in your shitty video? How could you not have seen this coming? It's stupid. I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking stupid. And he might try to take the blame away from him. He'll be like, oh, I didn't want people to just read the doc. Well, he was incompetent. He was incompetent in handling this entire matter. The fact that he decided to make a 5-hour video was very incompetent. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know Patricia Texan. I have never followed her online. I didn't know that she existed before all this. And while doing research for this video, I didn't spend hours of my life doing research on her posts, on her Tumblr blog, on her Twitter, on her private Twitter, on everything that she has ever said. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So I'm not going to say what Patricia Texan has said or not said. I am going to comment on Crimsonender's coverage of Patricia Texan. So yeah, if Patricia Texan actually is a fucked up individual, if she is an actual pedophile, then okay, sure, whatever. Okay, not whatever, that's not the right word. But I am not going to defend her if actual substantial evidence comes out that she has indeed abused children. That's what I'm trying to say. What I am trying to say here in this video is that Crimsonender did not do a good job in covering up whatever misdeeds that Patricia Texan has done. If you genuinely think that you have dirt on someone, that they are actually capable of hurting other people, you should try to convey this information to your audience as succinctly as possible. You need to make the information practical, informative, and to make sure it spreads far and wide and can reach a large audience. If you genuinely think that Patricia Texan is able to hurt people, this is how you avoid people from getting hurt. By doing a shitty job with your content, you are making sure that people are getting hurt. So if Patricia Texan is actually able to hurt someone, Crimsonender has done a terrible job at warning anyone about this, and he should be criticized for that. So yeah, I am not going to watch the 5-hour video, especially because he unlisted the entire thing. To add to the first point, Crimsonender is an incompetent information bringer. He is not able to convey his important information in an easy to digest manner that could actually help someone. And even if you do say like, oh wow, maybe there is so much information that you needed to put in a video that lasts 2 movies. You just had to. There's no way to edit around this. Okay, that's fine. Make a better Google Doc. Make a better summary of the information in your Google Doc. Put on the most important bits and pieces and tell people, hey, if you want to know more, go watch the entire video. I have the entire information there. But he did a shitty job writing the Google Doc, and the Google Doc probably massively influenced people into seeing Patricia Texan in a wrong light, as Crimsonender has admitted. He said in his Tumblr post apologizing for the entire incident that the video was shitty and that Patricia Texan did not deserve the witch hunt that he tried to bring on her. And in the Google Doc, it does say that it's completely disorganized and it's shitty. Like, I am not saying that this was incompetently handled. Crimsonender has said that. So do not come into my comment section trying to defend Crimsonender for its manner, because the man himself disagrees with you. He does agree that he could have handled this a lot better. So Laura, if he is so regretful about how he handled things, why are you holding it against him? Well, mostly because this incident shouldn't have happened in the first place. In this Google Doc, he has stated that he has experience dealing with mental health with troubled youth. He has the experience to not fuck up the way he did, and he did it anyway. And then there's like a fucking paragraph, the guy talks about how he has a lot of training and worked in harm reduction, mental illness and youth advocacy for about 7 years. Okay, so what exactly did you do? Like, do you have any kind of education on this matter? You have a lot of training. Do you have like a diploma or something? Were you a part of an NGO, of an actual governmental organization? I don't think it is rude of me to ask. If you're going to talk about your credentials in the document, how trustworthy you are, I think it's fair for me to question them. He decided to make a public doc full of like suicide bait information, and he decided to put in his doc some fucking person that had an internet argument with Patricia Texan. He decided this was the relevant thing to do. The first festival we got into was Omaha, and this was the only time where myself, Texan, and my co-director could all attend. While there, she did cause some tension at times with strange comments, like joking about keeping a call-out post ready for Jack Saint, bringing up buyer's market of... I don't understand anything about this, whatever. We tried our best to be hospitable, regularly our way to include her in our proceedings, and we all watched the Road Fellows movie together. There's a reason she referred to Omaha as containing some of the best times of her life, and I don't add this as a gotcha. I'm trying to express that I did everything I could to make her feel like she had a place with me. Oh my god, what a fucking shitty ass person. Like, who wrote this? Like, are you seriously going to make a call-out post about this transgender woman who we will later learn that has several mental issues and is probably like depressed or something, and you're going to go in this call-out post and say that a day that you really enjoyed was actually completely fake and everyone was faking liking her? Why would you even do that? What is the relevance of this to the call-out in question? I do not not know Patricia Texan. I don't think I will ever interact with her in my life. Why should it be relevant to my experience that she's awkward with other people, that she made bad jokes, and that they watched the movie, and that she basically directed the evening's activity? What is the point of this in the fucking call-outs? Do you want her to like fucking kill herself or whatever? Like, also, can I just add that it's supremely shitty that you are going to like with a person and the person is like grating on your nerves or whatever, and you don't like take her aside and explain to her that what she's doing is not appropriate, and you let that fester in your mind and in your heart. The date of this is February 2024. This was a year ago, over a year ago. You seriously kept that in your conscience and let it fester, and you just put that in your marvelous Google Doc that you're going to show to a bunch of strangers about how this Patricia Texan is a fucking loser and people just pretend to be nice to her. Speaking as someone that is not the most socially apt person, you could say, I would feel very, I don't know, scared or sad about this, that someone that I like, I even consider the friend, would pretend that they like me. Like, if you genuinely have a problem with a person, they're being uncomfortable, you could at least just bring it up and see, like, oh yeah, man, why did you do that? That was awkward. Or, man, like, can I take you to a side? Please don't make this kind of jokes or whatever. Like, you could at least do that. Now, if she reacts poorly and she decides to be a shitty person anyway, that's on her because you did warn her. But you just let this person just fucking, like, embarrass herself or make everyone uncomfortable, and you just blaming this on her. Like, what the fuck? This is such a shitty person. Okay, so after the Omaha Film Festival, other cracks began to show. Dun dun dun. Okay, so let's place our bets here, guys. What do you think those cracks are? Do you think that it's finally going to be something relevant to the topic of abuse or transphobia or anything of the kind? Or do you think it's just going to be more petty bullshit that is in this Google Doc for God knows what reason? Okay, I would ask her if she was willing to contribute to festival fees. You cannot submit to film festivals for free and you have to pay to have a chance of getting in. And she blew me off saying that she already did the music for free, March 10th. Then 3 days later, she was asking to stay at my co-director's apartment when attending the KC Film Fest. This is a woman who not only lives in Santa Cruz, but regularly jokes about how she could be a sugar mommy for the fat men she befriends. She was able to travel to see her boyfriend who is in the UK, and she spends money on furry porn and over 1K on her newest album art if she is to be believed. Festival fees split between us would be $30 each at the high end. She also decided that for whatever reason she was willing to spend money to help get a DCP file made to help the film play well in the theater because she had a vested interest, it's unquote, she had a vested interest in the film sounding good, so for whatever reason that was something she deemed worthy. I shrugged this off, but it felt weird. Oh my god! Are you seriously deeming this worthy enough to be in your shitty call-out post against a person? She also decided that for whatever reason, dude, it's like in the next sentence, like it's the same sentence. She decided that for whatever reason, she had a vested interest in the film sounding good. Yeah, that's like right there. It's the same sentence. What are you doing? Yeah, it's so unreasonable of her to pay extra for your film to be better because she was an important part of it and she wants her collaborations to be the best possible. What an asshole, what a dick. We should burn her at the stake for this. Why are you judging her for how she spends her money? Is this thing about not paying like $30 that big of a deal for you? At max, she's being an asshole. She's not being like abusive to you or whatever. 3 days later, she was asking to stay in my co-director's apartment. So what? So what? The co-director could say no? Did she point a gun at him and demanded to stay at the apartment? Sometimes I could pay for a hotel, but I decide to stay at the place of someone that I know. Am I going to get a 5.5-hour video of me as well? Is this a moral sin to try to save a few bucks? Like, even if she saves like $10 from this, and even if she doesn't need it, I don't know, maybe she will go out and have a really nice burger. I don't see what's the problem with that. And again, even if her refusing to spend money and doing all this was really terrible, she's just an asshole. Again, I will repeat, I do not understand why is this in here. The way she treated me as a friend and the way she was treating other random people started to make sense. If what she was saying on Priv was actually her true beliefs, then they needed to be shown. And after I did that, I told her I was cutting her off and didn't want to speak with her again. I told her I would remain professional in public until festival stuff ended. I did not shit talk her in public, not bring the film into this, try to remain somewhat professional despite everything, but she's vaguely posted about me several times, and now we are here. Now we are here indeed. I bet that she must have said some horrible things about you, like how she spent the entire day with you and you were awful and annoying and nobody liked you, but she was just bearing down to try to make you feel better. And about how you are a bitch that doesn't like spending money and that you asking for a favor from a person that you know is like the most horrible crime ever. In the first place, I feel like I was someone caught in the eventual right place at the right time, but the harassment I received on her behalf has only served to further justify my position. Oh wow, that sounds pretty bad. Let's see what she did. She harassed this guy? She doxed him? Did she make a 5.5-hour video on this person? Let's see. Because I'm going to say this, what happened to you, it is kinder than what you wanted to happen to Patricia Texan. Because from what I can gather, they are judging you for what you wrote. They're judging you for the content of your words of that specific post. But you wanted to cancel her from saying anything. She's made a post about IP and copyright law. And you just wanted her to just get completely nuked. You didn't want her to be heard about anything. Like, what happened to you here might have been unpleasant, but it was better than you were planning to do with her, just saying. This line here, I'm going to emphasize this. Patricia Tax is no one's friend, not mine, certainly not trans women, let alone trans women of color. Because I want to read to you a post that they themselves posted in this doc. I want to stop finding out who my real friends are. I'm going to get vulnerable on May for a second. This discourse cycle lost me a friend of many years. It was a point of tension between us for a while, and he was low-key one of the people I was thinking of when I answered that bait ask, but I wouldn't admit that to myself at the time. It was heartbreaking. Some of the happiest memories of my life turned bitter. Once you might have seen me post about me here. Now I'm on the other end. I've held my ground through heartbreak. I feel destabilized and vulnerable. All I can do is focus on exactly who I managed to stay friends with by holding my ground, which relationships were strengthened versus which ones weakened, and judge my choice based on this. In spite of everything, it is still so easy for me to believe things that I am told about myself. I remember the first time I got a call-out thread. I just uncritically confessed to everything without thinking. Having a good friend tell me my actions were shameful, deranged, I could go on. It shook my conviction and I lost most of the energy I had to defend myself. I am tired, I am almost 25 years old and I have spent my entire 20s advocating for myself. I still have no social life. I need to rethink everything. I need another filmmaker to hire me for music and get into the Omaha Film Festival so I can make new memories there, please. This is genuinely heartbreaking, I just gotta say. I think that what they're doing to her right now, doing the 5-hour video and just like airing all this shit on this Google Doc for everyone to see. I think that is genuinely disgusting. A person that has experience with mental health does not do this. A person that has experience with troubled youth does not release a document like that. I have 3 theories on what could have possibly happened. The first one is that Crimsonender has just straight up lied about having experience with mental health. He doesn't actually have it. He doesn't have any certificates or anything. He doesn't. He lied to you. The second option is that he does have some experience, but he has like some kind of shitty one, like he did an online course and he decided that he was completely prepared to talk about mental health now. And the third is that he actually does have something that's competent. He actually attended classes, but he didn't fucking pay attention to any of them. He just got a certificate, he passed the test, and was like, okay, I'm going to talk about mental health on the internet now, even though I know absolutely nothing about it. But Laura, he has said that he has learned from the experience, right? He has said that he will try to not engage so much in drama and he will try to keep away from it and he will probably be more careful in the future, right? Yeah, I don't believe him. This has happened before. And now I'm going to take a detour to talk about Kiwi Farms, the internet's favorite website. So what is Kiwi Farms? Kiwi Farms is essentially a website that unites a bunch of forums that are essentially celebrity gossip. They talk a lot about YouTubers, about influencers, this kind of stuff. I mean, they do essentially talk about anyone. There are actual in real life celebrities in there, but it is most famous for attacking internet celebrities because, you know, they are the most high profile cases. The entire website was created to document a specific person that is called Christian. I wouldn't waste my time looking for this whole story if I were you. Just trust me when I say this. Most users in Kiwi Farms harbor a lot of hate. They hate transgender people, LGBT people in general. They hate fat people. Just looking at the website makes me uncomfortable because the background is kind of like a mosaic of drawings of fat people, which, yeah, it's a pretty good warning that they are very fatphobic there. So I am not going to tell you to not go on Kiwi Farms. First, because it never works. It never works. You're going to tell someone to not go to a website, they're going to be like, oh, well, I gotta see what this is about. It's called the Streisand effect. You tell someone that you don't want them to look at something, they will do it. They will do it because, I don't know, they're curious, or maybe they think that they're the exception. They think, no, I'm too smart to fall for right-wing propaganda. I'm the exception. I am the uncorruptible holy grail. And we come to the second reason for me not to tell you to not go to Kiwi Farms because I go there. So it would be very hypocritical of me to tell you to not go there. You see, the thing about the internet is that people can post things and they can delete them whenever they want, which I think is something that it allows a lot of people to get away with a lot of bullshit, and I can't really abide with that. I did state in my Lily Orchard videos that one of the reasons that I cover her so much is because she has a tendency to delete stuff, and I have to actually cover them and post them so we make sure that they do not just disappear. I do that because even micro celebrities, even like YouTubers with less than 1 million subscribers, they do things that can potentially harm other people, that can influence other people in good or bad ways. So I don't think that it's fair that these people get to just delete what they did and everything will be fine. So I do like making sure that those things that people have done that may have influenced other people, they can stay up so we can judge them, so we can really understand the context of what happened. And it so happens that the best website at archiving shit that internet users do is motherfucking Farms. So if you are actually like doing a video on someone, you think that someone has actually harmed someone else and you want to talk about it, you think that it should be discussed more often, then Farms is probably your best bet for finding archives of anything that they have deleted. They do archive everything, which is actually like an advice that I recommend to everyone. I have a friend on Twitter that suffered a lot of hate messages, a lot of bullying, and I did send her the extension of archival so she can contact the police on anyone that is particularly violent, and they can just erase their shit and pretend that they have never attempted to hurt anyone. This is something that I do believe people should do more often. If someone is threatening you, archive it, don't let them get away with it. And Farms is sadly the best on it because they are people, essentially a gossip website that are obsessed with discussing other people. So they will gather the evidence, archive it, and they say the absolute bullshit. If you want to find the archive, go look for it. Try to not read the discussions though, because discussions can be kind of ugly. They will archive like a entire 3-hour video that Lily Orker did, and they will summarize point by point what she said, so you don't even have to watch it. They will post it on the website, so you don't even need to give her any views, and then they will say the most transphobic, the most disgusting thing ever. It's kind of tough. There is a thing that they do in the Lily Orker thread is that they frequently post like a video, a gif of her eating a sandwich, which just makes me feel fine and dandy as a woman on the internet. Boy, I love being reminded that one day I can be bullied by the way I look. So the way a forum works is essentially very similar to Reddit. So you know how Reddit has subreddits, and in these subreddits they have threads, like you make a post and people comment on it. So imagine it's that. It's not a Reddit, it's not a subreddit, it's the post. You have a subject, people create the forum to discuss the subject, and it is very probably going to be an internet celebrity. But it also could be an event. And they have the subject and everybody will comment on it, like in a Reddit thread. All the comments will be there for you to see. But there is no algorithm, there is no sorting. You can react to Farms posts, you can express your distaste, you can express that you agree with something, but there is no algorithm ordering. In Reddit, the most upvoted, the most agreed on comments, they go up, and the ones that do not receive as much attention, they go down. In forums, everyone posts the same. Every post has the exact same visibility, except for some that the mods remove, or some that received a lot of votes, are very controversial or hated or loved, they get a special tag. But the important thing that you need to keep in mind is there's no filter for like important opinions that people agree with, and there is no easy way to differentiate this from posts that are less correct. So it creates a really heavy echo chamber. You will see a bunch of people that are there because of the community, like people will be there to discuss the subject, and you will see everyone commenting and discussing in chronological order. So it's very easy to lose a sense of what actual normal people believe in, what is considered to be a reasonable opinion that people outside of the internet hold, and what is considered a niche opinion that is very controversial and not many people agree with it. It's very easy for you to get this mixed up. This is why websites like Fortune are really useful as recruitment tools, because not only do you have the anonymity, no one is being held responsible for their opinion, so they can just say whatever crazy shit they want, but you don't have an easy way to figure out what is supposed to be taken seriously, what is a really harmful opinion. So if you do need to go to queer forums, I do have these warnings for you. Do not go there if you are feeling isolated, you're alone, or you don't have many in real life friends, you don't work outside of your house. Do not go into this kind of communities, because it's very easy for you to lose sense of reality, that you lose sense of how the world works and how people think. So I did go really off the rails because I thought it was very important to talk about kiwi farms and how it works, and to potentially warn you if you decide to go there. I actually read the Lily Orchid kiwi farm thread because when you cover her, you kind of have to know about insane amounts of lore. If you're going to, for example, read Pokemon House, then she mentions actual events that happen in her life that you kind of need to know what's going on for you to understand what she's talking about. I remember in the Twitter thread about writing advice, there was one specific, like, oh, if a character kills 10,000 people, they're irredeemable, unless they are being character assassinated by writers, and I kind of have to know that she's talking about Sylvanas Windrunner. People will point out that she only talks about 3 or 4 properties. Otherwise, you don't know what she's actually talking about. It's actually interesting because the Lily Orchid queer farm thread is actually much more left-wing than the rest of the website. You actually go there and, I don't know, once a month some weirdo will wander in there from another part of the website and be like, what the fuck, you guys actually respect her pronouns? You actually have minimum decency towards this creature? Why aren't you as transphobic and disgusting as the rest of this website? It's very annoying, it happens every month. So Crimsonender obviously looks at this thread, and you know that because it's actually funny, because there was a moment in which he covered her, talked about her, but he said, oh, I don't want to talk about Lily Orchid anymore, I don't care about this drama, and he made a very public post about it, and even Lily Orchid commented on that, like, oh, my haters drop like flies, but then he still read the thread. People would discuss a specific thing, a Canadian thing in the Lily Orchid thread, and he would pop in his Tumblr and say, yeah, don't ask me why I'm saying this, but here's the information on this specific subject on this Canadian region that Lily Orchid lives in. Honestly, man, why don't you create a Kiwi Farms account and just comment that straight in the thread? Honestly. I mean, I know that you don't actually mention the Kiwi Farms thread in the post, but I mean, why even take the risk? Why even take the risk of you accidentally funneling more people into that hate website? You know, at least when I read it, I don't make a fucking fuss about it and I don't publicly respond to it. Like, just create a thread and answer the questions in the thread so you don't market the transphobic hate website. Yeah, but maybe he does have a thread. Maybe he created one. I don't know. I mean, I want to know. This website is completely anonymous. But my point being is that song and dance of, oh man, I I am going to cover this transgender woman. I'm going to talk about her. Oh, I don't want you to do this anymore. I don't want you to cover this drama. I think it's unhealthy to fixate. And then he goes and fixates again. This happened before. Happened with Lily Orchard and with Patricia Taxon, because he went on and said, hey, I am going to make a 5.5-hour video in the Google Doc. Oh, wait, I don't like this anymore. Oh, wait, I actually do. It never retracted it. It's honestly, I think it is kind of indefensible, really, because the timeline of creating X, apologizing for X, and not retracting their apology for X is kind of indefensible when you think about it. Because if you are in favor of X, if you're in favor of the call out, then you are pissed off that they even apologize for it in the first place. But if you don't like the call out, then you are pissed off that they retracted their retraction of the apology, but they never retracted it in the first place. You would be pissed off anyway, is my point. And it's even worse because he actually says, yeah, I never retracted, but I'm washing my hands of it. So he's just taking the centrist option, really. Yeah, I'm not retracting the call-out post, but I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just going to do absolutely nothing. I'm just going to be a centrist. Like, if you actually read the text post that he did, when he is apologizing to Patricia Taxon about the video, he will talk a lot about how the video was a mistake, how the video shouldn't have been made, that it was really unfair to bring this witch hunt into Patricia Taxon, that he blasted a lot of voices that weren't very fair to her, that there was a lot of people that have their own personal hang-ups with her, that he wasn't very professional to really voice those concerns, and that the video was poorly made, and that the document was poorly made, and that he unlisted the video, and he went and put on the Google Doc a link to the post stating that he doesn't really stand by that video anymore, that that's a version that Patricia Taxon killed my grandma. But he actually added on top of that post that he actually really hates Patricia Taxon right now, and that you shouldn't talk to her, especially if you're under 18 years old, and that he never retracted the video. How I do not understand how the original post could have conceivably not been a retraction. How you posting about how it was unfair for Patricia Taxon, how it was shitty for you to do this, how this entire spiel was not a retraction. You even unlisted the fucking video. What was the point of that anyway? If it wasn't a retraction, if you actually if it wasn't a retraction, why is this video not up right now? Or even better yet, why didn't you make a new one? A video that's actually good, that actually talks about the things that you think are bad about Patricia Taxon. You went through the effort of saying that no one under 18 years old should interact with her, but it really didn't tell us why. Like, am I supposed to just believe you? Am I really supposed to believe that you, Crimsonender, the guy that just made in the same post several paragraphs explaining how there were so many discourses going on, like many opinions that you were manipulated by, you just wrote an entire post about that, and now on top you're saying that Patricia Taxon is truly a terrible person, she is really declining. Why should I trust you? I genuinely don't know. I'm literally asking. I don't know why he believes this. Actually, when I was reading the Q reforms, I actually thought that this was because of her opinions on Mouse. You know, the book, the comic book Mouse, I thought it was about that, because they decided to archive Patricia Taxon's opinions on Mouse, and Patricia Taxon said that Crimsonender retracted his apology because of her opinions on Mouse. So I actually believe that. I believe that that's why he retracted his opinion. He didn't say why. So I'm just going to do a little side note on these things. It's not really that relevant to the current situation, at least I don't think so. But since it's being brought up, you're probably going to find out about it. For sake of clarity, I'm going to be talking a little bit about it. So if you don't know, Mouse is a comic book by Art Spiegelman that talks about the Holocaust in Germany. His father was a victim of the Holocaust and he narrates his experiences. And it is famous because all the Jewish people are portrayed as mice. Because Germany had a real big thing with cleaning. The propaganda machine portrayed Nazism as an act of cleaning, of removing impurities. And Jewish people on propaganda were often portrayed as mice, as vermin that is corrupting society, that is making their vermins that are just bringing filth. So, as an artistic decision, Art Spiegelman decided to portray Jewish people as mice. But the thing is that Mouse is not only a story about the Holocaust, it is not only about talking about what happened there. Because Art Spiegelman also talks about his relationship with his father, and he makes very clear that his father is not a very trustworthy person. Art Spiegelman's mother committed suicide before the comic, and he did portray it in another comic that he put on Mouse. And he talks about how his mother had a bunch of journals, a bunch of diaries, and he really wanted to read them, but his father burned them all, even though he knew that his mother wanted him to read it. He knew that his dead wife's wish was to leave her writings, her point of views for her son, and he intentionally destroyed them. And you have to wonder why he did that. Why did he go through so much trouble so that her voice couldn't be heard? And Art Spiegelman does say in the comic that he wished he had another perspective. He wished he didn't have to write about his father. He says, yeah, my father's a racist. He didn't want to fucking give a right to a black person. It's like, oh, black people are so dirty, I hate them. He's a racist, he's a greedy Jew, and Art says, I wish that I had another person to talk about, because he's the stereotypical greedy Jew. It would have been a more balanced experience. I would be able to tell a more balanced story. So, Mouse is not just a telling of the Holocaust, it is also a telling about the people that survived it, and is how it affected the Jewish community even after they got out, even the Jewish people that did not live through it. Art Spiegelman did suffer with the effects of the Holocaust, even though he wasn't there. He did suffer through the loss of people that he loved because of it, of how it affected his parents, about how he could not live up to the little brother that he lost. It affected him very personally, and it still affects Jewish people through this day. You can't just shrug off some gigantic trauma like that. It affects generations. It has and will still affect generations. So with all that in mind, Patricia Texon did a reading of Mouse and exposed her opinions that I do not agree with. She decided to read a bunch of psychosexual stuff into Mouse. For example, there is a scene in which Art Spiegelman is doing a bunch of interviews on Mouse, and he is feeling very overwhelmed with the task of portraying the Holocaust, because it's a very important event. It affected millions of people, it still affects it, and he needs to try to make a good job, and he feels overwhelmed, and he feels like a lost child crying for his mommy, and Patricia Texon did the sexual reading of that. And I do not agree with it. I think that feeling helpless and wanting your mommy's help is not necessarily sexual. It is a very basic human feeling of feeling lost and wanting a parent to guide you. You don't even need your mother to die to feel like that. You don't even need to have a strange, shitty relationship with your parents. Everyone feels like that. And while I do disagree with Patricia Taxon, I want you to keep in mind two things. First of all, you need to understand that Mouse is a comic that invites alternate interpretations of the event. This is not a history book. This is not a documentary. This is not a listing of facts that happened. This is a very emotional story about the emotions of people that lived through it and suffered through it. You are supposed to ask questions about it. You are supposed to wonder if this is the best way that this story could have told. Art Spiegelman himself wonders this, about what kind of story he could have told if he had other sources to talk about it. It is no surprise that the audience might wonder too and bring their interpretations into the work. So it's not surprising that Patricia Taxon did that. Now, whether you agree with her or not, it is not inherently disrespectful to the experience of Mouse that you can read some sexual shit in it. And the second point is, even if you completely disagree with her, even if you think it's disgusting that she saw sexual shit in Mouse, it's a shit take in a book. She's not like writing Hetalia fanfiction set in a concentration camp. She's not sexualizing the experience of the Holocaust. She's not saying that the Holocaust was great, that Jewish people should have died, or even that the Holocaust didn't happen. She didn't say any of that. She read a work of art and she had a shit take on it. It's fine, it happens. I mean, I might have had shit takes in my videos, in my channel. I might have said things that are kind of stupid about other words. It happens, people make mistakes. This doesn't mean that I should get harassed for it. It shouldn't mean that you get the right to retract an apology for doing a fucking witch hunt on me. And Crimsonender is practiced as if like, oh, it's the most disgusting thing I have ever read. Is it? Is it the most disgusting thing you have ever read? The most disgusting thing you have ever seen? It's not even the most disgusting thing related to the Holocaust, to Jewish people. Do you even know the year that you live in? The world situation? Do you seriously think that is the worst opinion anyone could have possibly had on the Holocaust? Really? Don't you think you're being a little bit dramatic about that? So it's important to note that Crimsonender did have this disagreement with her, and Patricia Taxon has cited this as the reason why he retracted his apology. But I'm not sure if I necessarily buy it, because Crimsonender has said that if you're under 18, you shouldn't talk to Patricia Taxon. If his retraction really were over her opinion on Mouse, why limited to 18? Why limited it to minors? I think there's something else going on here. So I had to do a little digging. I went to Crimsonender's Tumblr and I searched for Patricia Taxon's name. And what came up is a post in which Patricia Taxon states that she is aware that there are minors that are looking at her Tumblr. And her Tumblr has some sexual stuff. She does talk a lot about, I don't know, about her OCD, her kinks. It has sexual shit. And what she says is that she's aware that there are many minors that go on the internet and they try to find a community they fit in because they feel strange. This is something that actually happens. I frequently go to a subreddit that's called Homeschool Recovery. And it's a subreddit full of people that come from abusive families that decided to essentially lock them inside their house for their entire childhood and not let them go to public school, to just go to school at all, in order to keep them pure away from bad teachings. And most of these are obviously religious people that don't want their children to be gay or whatever. This is something that happens. Teenagers start feeling like sexual attraction towards people. Maybe they start figuring out that they're gay. They want answers and they go online. A lot of people from the subreddit have stated that they knew that their parents were hiding things from them and they have to figure out for themselves. And what Patricia Texan says is, well, I know that there are minors that are hanging around my website, and I don't really mind because I wish I had found someone like me when I was a teenager, which is something that kind of makes sense because she has posted a lot about her mental issues, about her feelings towards her body, about feeling dysphoria, and a lot of stuff. But I just wanted to say something because this tweet is kind of reminding me of some discourse that I've seen because I am asexual, I am an ace. I do not feel sexual attraction against people, against anyone, I don't. And there was a discourse in the ace community because there were a lot of people, like when Tumblr was still very famous, they were saying, no, not because you're ace that means that you are traumatized or have some kind of neurological problem. Some people are just like that. Some people are just asexuals. And it was a discourse that was going for a while. We were saying a lot like, oh, because the sexual community is not for like traumatized people or rape victims. But then there was a shift in the conversation because we realized, man, if someone is asexual because of trauma, is asexual because they got raped or because they are neurodivergent, that let's welcome them to our community anyway, because it doesn't necessarily matter the source of your sexuality. What matters is that you feel some way, you have self-identified as an asexual, and you think that being part of our community would meaningfully help and improve your life. And who are we to say that you shouldn't do that? Like, if you were actually traumatized and you think that being identified as a sexual and a part of a community is going to help you, I'm not going to stop you from being asexual, for being a part of a community. This is a point that I disagree with the tweet because there are people that were traumatized into having weird kinks and they cannot look for help for that. And honestly, man, let's welcome them into the LGBT community. Because, even if they are having issues dealing with violence, sexual violence that happened to them, if they think that being part of the LGBT community is something that might help them, then I don't see why we should stop them from identifying as that. I mean, I'm obviously not saying that someone is abusive, if someone is a rapist, you should let them, go and do whatever they want. I'm not saying that, but first of all, there are many rapists and abusers that aren't particularly kinky, that they don't have weird kinks, and even if they are actually LGBT, one of the normal LGBT people, you should kick them out of your events anyway because you shouldn't tolerate abuse. And also, the LGBT community has a lot of resources in how to deal with kink, on how to talk about consent, and we all know that even in the United States, not necessarily only in Brazil, because Brazil is like a fucking lawless land full of religion, no one's going to give you meaningful sexual advice. Therapy is still not really normalized. If the best resource that you have is like hanging around with other people that are oppressed by their sexuality and are seen as deviants, then honestly, man, if this brings you happiness, if it brings you joy and makes your life less miserable, I'm not against it, Obviously, as I said, you shouldn't be hurting people inside the LGBT community, like anywhere actually, not only the LGBT community. You shouldn't be open to abusers, to rapists and this stuff. But if you have like a weird kink and you're feeling meaningfully oppressed by that, and you do want to seek help, and you do want to seek a community so you feel less alone, then I don't know, man. I'm not against boring those people. She tries to be an educative resource on that. She tries to explain how her OCD works and tries to destigmatize it. So she tries to be this kind of resource, and she states that she knows that minors are in her blog, in spite of the fact that her blog has actually forbidden 18 on it, like you shouldn't go there if you're a minor. It has a warning that it has sexual bullshit, but she understands that teenagers do this anyway, and she goes on and says, yeah, so if you're going to be talking to adults about this, you should probably lie about your age. Now, I don't agree with that, because I am an adult in the internet, and I think that if I am interacting with someone that doesn't have a lot of lived experience and is a more impressionable mind, I do want to be ready for it. I don't want to be taken by surprise, but I can understand why people think that. The person that posted this post talks about it, and Crimsonender prints a bunch of replies of him talking to someone else in the post. And what the person says is that they think that you shouldn't be talking about your age at all. You should not be giving this kind of information online. If people know that you're a minor or that you're a child, they will come for you. They will be attracted by the fact that you are vulnerable. And I do understand where this thought comes from. I actually first learned about it in Club Penguin. They had like a set of rules, and I read all of them because I was young and I wanted to be a good girl. And they said that you should never state your age for any stranger online. And in fact, you should avoid putting your year of birth in your username, which is something very common that people do. You shouldn't do that, especially if you're a kid, because people will know how old you are. And that is the opinion that the person has. People that want to talk to minors to abuse them will be attracted to minors that appear to them. If you are not a minor and the abuser is looking for young people to abuse, they won't go to you if they don't know that you're a minor. It feels very obvious, right? But then Crimsonender has this fucking breakdown. It's like, yeah, but you know that you shouldn't have sex with children, right? You know that you shouldn't have sexual relationship with minors. And like, yeah, man, what the fuck did that come from? You know that little joke that people do about leading questions? Like, I go to someone and say, hey, have you stopped beating your wife? The obvious joke here being that you're obviously starting with a leading question in order to make the person that is answering, make them look bad no matter what they answer. So if you start going to people and saying, yeah, but you know that you shouldn't have sex with minors, right? It's such a fucking leading question, man. Like, why are you even asking that? When did that come up? Nothing sexual was mentioned in the post. It wasn't there. They was just talking about conversation partner. They were not talking about sex shit. So this might be the reason why Crimsonender puts the whole do not talk to Patricia Texan if you're under 18 there, which I don't know. He didn't put it in the post. Why he thinks that? Hey, Patricia Texan is spiraling down, and you shouldn't talk to her. Here's why. Print. Okay, maybe the print could be leading or whatever, but at least I would know why you think that. But now I don't. I have to guess. I have to fucking guess. And if she did actually do something fucked up, and minors really shouldn't talk to her, then I will never know. He didn't say. He didn't say why. It's so important that you don't touch Patricia Texan, but I won't tell you why. You gotta trust me. Did Patricia Texan actually talk to minors in a sexual way? I don't think she did. Well, first of all, you shouldn't assume that a person is a pedophile without evidence. It's just the basic, do not accuse people without evidence. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. This doesn't apply only to transgender women, by the way. It applies to fucking everyone. You should not be accusing anyone in the internet of having sexual relationships with minors without evidence. You shouldn't be doing that about any crime with any person. But do bear in mind that this is a very prevalent stereotype for transgender women. People really think that transgender women only transgender so they can harass children. It's a very common held belief. It's actually really funny because Crimsonender actually talks about Patricia Taxon. Like, yeah man, I always thought that she was a bad person, but I thought that she could change and I think she doesn't. I guess you should always go with your gut whether someone is bad or not. Like, she says some shit like that. Yeah, you should really trust your instincts about people, especially if they're part of a minority that is violently stereotyped. Trust me, bro. But the main reason, the one burning reason that I have for not believing that Patricia Taxon has talked to minors in a sexual way is that it wasn't on Kiwi Farms. Patricia Taxon has her own threads there. People love talking shit about her. They go to her Tumblr, they go to her separate Tumblrs for whatever her alters because she has the ID. They see her videos on the updates of her life. They speculate about what her house looks like. They fucking watch everything. They fucking watch every single move because they really hate this woman and they really want to prove that she's a terrible person. And they didn't find anything. There's nothing there in the thread. That's literally nothing. The one thing that comes close to it was that whole call that she did where she said that she was masturbating to it. I think that the worst thing that I could see that Patricia Taxon actually did was that she had a Discord with a bunch of minors and there, you know, those stickers, those emojis, apparently they were like stuff with war and shit, like all those fetish kinks, and it was really bad. She regularly masturbated on voice call and told people after the fact, some reason, you know, just whatever. I think that there might be a cultural barrier here, because have you guys never sent porn to your friends? Because here in Brazil, actually, there's like a really funny phenomenon when a social media account of a company does something that we don't like, we go and just spam them with the nude picture of a football player. We call it pampetaço because it's vampeta. So we just do that, we just send people porn for fun. It's actually very common for my friend to send like Garfield yaoi to me and her friends, and we're all like, oh my god, it's a Garfield gay sex. So yeah, I'm not saying that doing that to minors and saying that she masturbated during voice chat and didn't notice is a good thing to do. You shouldn't do that. But I can understand how this mistake could have been made. And Patricia did apologize here. She said that she was very immature, she was 17, 18, she was overly horny and emotionally volatile. Emotionally immature, and aware of my own baggage, and perceived with everyone in there as close friends when that was never the case. Seems to me like a reasonable explanation, and it doesn't seem like she did it again after. Here she says, as much as I've admitted to, I want to clarify that I did not understand these messages or interactions as a sexual advance at the time, and this was not done with sexual intent. I hope it's clear that this isn't an edifying clarification that improves my image, but it is the truth. Okay, so here's the thing. If you want to have a problem with that, that is completely fine. If you don't want to associate with her because of that, it's also completely fine. Like, I have no desire to interact with this person. I genuinely do not care about Patricia Taxon. But I don't understand, what do you expect her to do? Like, she said that she's sorry, she didn't do that again. She actually open up to her friends and colleagues. She has admitted to what she has done, and she apparently cut contact with a lot of collaborators and friends. They decided to cut contact because they were uncomfortable. What do you want her to do? about the situation, because since she's a musician, she's an artist, she can't just disappear online and lose her income, you know. It doesn't seem like she did it again. So I'm just saying, I'm just clarifying my position on this. That's the closest thing that I could find. There's nothing. I genuinely don't know what the fuck Grims is talking about. So yeah, he just really believes that Patricia Texans is actually talking to minors and it's engaging with them in sexual ways, even though he has said on his apology post that he has accused her without evidence before, and he regretted it. He's saying it again. He's not going to change. He's never going to change. And you shouldn't trust him to do so. Hey everyone, this is me from the future, because I recorded the video a while ago and I wanted to update it with stuff that is happening in the world right now, which essentially means that I have recorded 3 videos to talk about this subject. Isn't that fucking crazy? I don't know if you've heard of this, but the United Kingdom has rolled out a law or something that children can't access the internet now. Like, really? That's the best way I can describe it. Like, you can even go on Discord without having to Face ID yourself to prove that you're not a smelly kid. And people are circumventing it with Gary's mod, because of course they are. No one wants to do this. No one wants to give their ID. Nobody wants to give their face to faceless corporations so they can use your data however they want. And even if they wanted to, some people just can't because they have tattoos on their face or they have some kind of facial deformity. So it doesn't scan well, so they aren't able to do this even if they wanted to. And YouTube wants to roll out a feature that they use AI to scan your videos and determine your age. It's bleak, you know, 1984, Britain's fascist kind of crap. But I just wanted to say that even if those features worked exactly the way they were planned to, even if they could scan your face and determine your age, even if there is no issue at all giving this kind of info to corporations in order to access the internet, and you could effectively ban children from the internet, that would still be bad. It would still be bad to ban children from the entire internet. And that is the end point of the kind of rhetoric that Crimsonender is talking about here. If you're going to act like every single time children interact with another in the internet is sexual, is predatory, every time a child goes online, they are going to be swarmed with pedophiles, this is what's going to happen. People will try to keep children out of the internet. And that is bad because most of the abuse that children suffer is actually at the hand of authority figures in their lives. Like, this makes sense, right? You do understand this, even without citing the studies that show this. A child is much more likely to be abused by a parental figure or authority figure like a teacher or a religious authority in their society than they are by some fucking random online. If you create systems of child rearing that give parents godlike powers to do whatever they want with their children because they are their property, this is what is going to happen. And we are creating a system in which a child can be exploited by influencers in TikTok and YouTube videos, have their privacy violated, and they can even log in to see the content that 13. We are creating a system in which a child can be sexually, emotionally, physically abused by their parents, and they can't even log in Discord to talk to their friends about it. And even if there isn't any abuse going on in the lives of the children that are being affected by this, you can't just bar them from interacting with the world. Like it or not, the internet is a very big part of life now, and you need to make sure that children know how it works, how to be acquainted with it. It's much more useful for you to teach them how to retain their privacy, their anonymity, so they don't get exploited online, than it is to just bar them from it and let them go wild when they're 18. Like, what do you think happens when children grow up? Do you think that a 17-year-old is a pure, innocent child that will be abused by everyone, and once they're 18, they just became an adult and they know how life works? Because yes, adults are more mature and they know how to handle the situations better, but that's because they have experience. They actually have years of interacting with people around them, and they know what to expect. They know the consequences of their actions. And now you're telling me that children can't even like go to Wikipedia or something? Like, what the fuck? And I don't care if Crimsonender releases a 1 kilometer long post talking about how this ban of children of the internet is bad. I don't care what he does, because he is spreading the kind of rhetoric that is making this possible, and I need to point this out. It's really easy to shit on Patricia Tetson but for the things that she says, because she is a very open person. I actually think that she should be a little more quiet about the details of her life, because, well, I don't think this entire thing is going well for her, but it is very admiring to see her being open about some of her experiences, because the thing is that she has OCD, but she has a specific type, like pedophile OCD or something, I don't know. She has pedophilic thoughts, but she doesn't act on them. It's just something that pops up, intrusive thoughts. And she's very open about it. She's very open about going to therapy to figure out what happened there. And she is very, very adamant about consent. And people just fucking hate it. People hate it that she's trying to like sort out her life and figure out what to do. She actually says stuff like, hey, I think that a big part of my recovery is to be fine with the intrusive thoughts in my mind, which, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? If you can't fix them, if you can't fix intrusive thoughts in your mind, at least you have the tools to look at them and be like, well, I'm not going to do what they suggest. Because the thing is that not raping children is very easy to do. Depending on your job and your family situation, you might not even interact with kids for decades if you do want that. And people just fucking hate this, man. Like, there's this fucker on the dock, there's a Discord brain. I have no idea who this is, and I have no idea why I should pay attention to what they say. From what I can gather from context, they're not Patricia Tetson. And I don't even know if they're one of the people, like the white text person or the green text person. I don't know who they are. At least when Crimsonender is talking stuff, he went and said, hey, I have certificates, I have experience. I don't know who this Randy in the Discord is. And they're just like, yeah, I think that pedophiles shouldn't be recorded. I think that pedophiles just die. Death penalty for all pedophiles. Like, what do you think is going to happen, dude? Do you think you have a sixth sense? You can just spot a pedophile in the wild like a fucking X-Men character? That's your superpower? Because you can't. What you're suggesting is, yeah, let's just destroy all systems that we have of a pedophile knowing what they are and searching for help. Let's just make them hide and just kill them once they abuse a child. Let's just do that. Unless you are suggesting that we try to find a pedophile before they harm children, like some Minority Report bullshit, but what's going to happen is that you are essentially just going to stereotype people into being pedophiles. You're just going to vilify LGBT people, being like, yeah, they are probably pedophiles, let's kill them all, let's take pictures of strangers in public restrooms, that will protect the children. God, I am so fucking tired of this. This is like, make peace with Patricia Taxon, guys. Make peace with her. Because at the end of the day, she is much less harmful than any of these people. At least Patricia Taxon isn't gonna make a 5.5-hour video about me with a scary thumbnail that says, oh, Manufatura isn't the person that you think she is, and release a Google Doc about how one of the happiest days of my life was a lie and all my friends are bullshitting me into thinking that they like me, and I feel safer around Patricia Taxon than I feel around QE Farms people that repost nudes that I took and I forgot to tag and keep writing posts about how you're ugly and how you are Neanderthal that should die. Make peace with Patricia Taxon, guys. Make peace with the fact that she's a little weird, that she's a transgender woman or even a furry. Like, she has a corgi as a fursona. Who cares? Who cares? Osamu Tezuka drew sexy mice ladies. You think he shoved his dick on a mouse pussy or something? Jesus Christ, like, you have to make peace with it, because what's the alternative here? Even if you don't care about the suffering of transgender women, like, what's the alternative here? Creating systems where you have to give corporations your face in order to access the internet, where every single move you do is logged into AI to figure out if you're a predator or not? Getting your pics taken in the bathroom? Like, make peace with it, guys. This is, I'm so fucking pissed off. Jesus Christ. The point is, this kind of rhetoric has real life consequences. Things are worse now because of people like Crimsonender. I'm serious about this. I'm serious. Now to the third part of this video. He is partners and he works with people that are comfortable with lying about transgender women. The reason why I think this is important is because Crimsonender has stated in his apology post that he was swayed by people that had a bunch of transphobic opinions, that he came very close to the verge of transphobic shit. Whether or not he was on the verge or if it was actually transphobic shit, it is debatable. I think it was fully transphobic, but let's be nice to Crimsonender. Let's say that it wasn't fully transphobic and it was just on the verge of being transphobic. What Crimsonender is clearly stating is that he was swayed by third parties, that someone else had biases that infected him, that he has blindly trusted people that shouldn't have been trusted, and that was a mistake. So naturally he should have learned from this and he should have stopped talking to people that lie about transgender women, right? He should do that, right? I don't know if you remember this, I don't even know if you have watched this, but a long time ago I made a video stating that Lily Orchard should sue Psy for slander. Now, I'm not going into that video. If you want to know more about it, you should watch it. What I will be talking about is a conversation that I had in the comments with Ant. Ant is someone that has worked closely with Psy and Crimsonender, and they call themselves the Autism Trio. They actually call themselves that. I am not making this up. So, Ant has watched the video and decided to be annoying in my comments section. He started talking about how Lily Orchard wouldn't actually be able to sue Psy because of legal reasons. Now, I am fully prepared to admit that I might have been wrong about the legal side of things. I am not an expert on USA law or Canadian law. I do not know much about slander. I'm not a lawyer. I did not go to law school. It is possible that I was wrong. It is possible that she shouldn't suicide, that something illegal didn't happen. However, the broad point that I was trying to make is that I believe that Sai was lying about Lily Orchard. And I did say that to Ant, like, okay, so you watched the entire video, you saw that I think that Sai is lying about Lily, and that's your response. You really came into my comment section to talk about like the least important part. You're not even going to acknowledge the things that I have said, either to agree with them, either to agree with me, or to defend your friend. And what Ant said is that he doesn't agree with Sai, that he actually thinks that Sai was wrong about Lily, and Sai was not willing to apologize or to retract her opinion, and she thinks it's just an opinion, that she wasn't wrong in saying it, even though Ant disagreed. And again, let me repeat to you this. What Sai has said does not matter. It doesn't matter what Sai said here. You can watch the video if you want to. This video is not about her. This video is not about Lily Orchard. I'm not getting into this. What matters is this. Ant believes that Sai has wrongfully accused someone of wanting to see children get sexually exploited. Ant believes that Sai is wrong with her assumption. He believes Sai has wrongfully accused someone of a horrible thing, and he decided to do nothing. As far as I'm aware, I mean, they still work together. Like, how are you not cutting ties with someone like this? Why are you still collaborating with her? You were either lying to me and saying that you don't actually believe that Sai was wrong, or you legitimately do not see any issue with working with someone that has blatantly lied and refused to apologize about it. And talk about a transgender woman, let me make myself clear. It's already a minority that receives so much hate. J.K. Rowling actually told people to like take pictures of women in bathrooms just in case that they're transgender, because it's so harmful that transgender people exist. They could rape your babies. And Ant sees absolutely no problem with that. Yeah, just go ahead and accuse the transgender woman of wanting to see children be sexually exploited. I don't agree with you, but that's whatever. It's who cares, right? I don't. And I'm gonna say this, it pisses me off because the same guy goes on the internet, oh my god, why do people think that I'm transphobic? Why do people think that I share hate rhetoric? Why do people think that? Yeah, that's why people think that. Yeah, I do not like Ant. I do not like him at all. He decided to watch a video on Sai instead of just like ignoring it. Like, if you're just going to ignore what Sai did, he could have just let it go. He could just walked away, but he decided to be annoying and sea lioning in my comment section, trying to defend her. And she's like, yeah, well, technically speaking, she didn't do anything illegal, even though I do actually believe that she was wrong and that she wrongfully accused someone else of wanting to see children being sexually exploited. I don't like the guy. I don't like, and I also don't like Crimsonender, because Crimsonender has said that other people tricked him into believing a narrative that wasn't right about the transgender woman, and he still works and he is still partner with someone that I think has lied about a transgender woman, and another person that it doesn't matter what I think, he believes that she has lied about a transgender woman, and he's completely fine with that. Yeah, that's the situation. Even if Crimsonender is completely innocent of this, even if Crimsonender does not know what is going on with Ant and with Sai, he should know. He should know, because he was already tricked, and he has stated in his post that he was tricked, and he should be making an effort to not be tricked again, to not work with these terrible people. So, yeah, so that's it. That's the three things. Let me give you a reminder of what we have discussed here. First of all, Crimsonender is not competent enough to be able to handle discussions like this, and he has misled you to believe that he is. Second of all, Crimsonender has tried to move away from drama, has apologized for drama, and returned to it multiple times by now, at least two. He is not truly sorry about being swept into YouTube drama. And third of all, he still cooperates, he is still partners with people that either lie about transgender women or are okay with lying about transgender women. That's the three topics and why I think you should not trust Crimsonender to report anything about any person ever again, including me, by the way. If he does like a video taking me down, I do hope that you will be able to watch this and be able to see the breakdown on why I think he isn't a very trustworthy person. So what now? What do we do now? So I don't know, man. Like, I'm honestly doubtful that this video will even make a difference. I do not have a very high subscriber count. And honestly, the people that are subscribed to me, I don't think that they're open to this kind of content at all. That video on Side that I did, that was the only video I have ever made on Lily Orchard that has lost me subscribers. I'm inclined to believe that my subscribers are just not interested in this kind of content. They don't want to see their Ubu Beam, their favorite internet guy, being criticized for being transphobic and being wrong. It's not a thing that they want to see, and when they do see someone discussing this, they just want to shut the discussion down. But I am begging you this. You don't need to be a fan of Crimsonender. You really don't. Let me ask you this. What is Crimsonender to you? What is he to you? Is he your friend? Is he your family? Probably not. He is probably a guy that you've heard of in the internet. Maybe you even like his kind of content. So there isn't really a need for you to defend him. Of course, you can defend him if you genuinely think that I am wrong. By all means, put it in the comments. If there is any detail that I missed or anything you want to add, or even saying that I got something wrong, that I interpreted something wrong, you can do that. But I'm just going to say this. You can subscribe to someone else. I'm not telling you to subscribe to me. We don't make the same kind of content. But there are other people in the internet making videos about Five Nights at Freddy's. You don't need to support someone that is so careless on their content. I'm going to repeat what I said in a previous video. He is lying to you. The person that he's trying to hurt is Patricia Taxon, but you are the mark. You are the target of his allegations. You are the one that he is trying to deceive. And maybe he isn't trying to deceive. Maybe he's just stupid. Maybe he's just incompetent. But that's arguably worse. Because if he is doing this on purpose, he can be reasoned to stop. You could make an argument to him saying, hey, you are going to lose subscribers to your channel. You are going to have a bad fame of being a transphobic person. People aren't going to like you anymore, and he can be persuaded to stop. But if he is truly incompetent, then there is no reasoning. There is nothing that he can do because he is incompetent. He can never make a content about someone else ever again because he can't do it. He'll probably get it wrong. So yeah, even if he isn't doing this on purpose, it is still harmful. He has harmed Patricia Taxon. She has talked about it, about how it harmed her, and he will probably do it again, as point 2 has stated. He will do it again. So yeah, as a recommendation from me to you, don't support the guy anymore. And if you are a Crimsonender, and if you are watching this, delete your channel, man. Like seriously, delete your channel. It's not worth it anymore. Are you seriously going to recover from this? Really? Are you like, you already fucked up once, recognizes that you fucked up, and then retracted your apology? Like, you're not going to fucking recover from this. Like, you're just going to keep hurting people. If I had fucked up in the same level that you did with Patricia Texon, I would have deleted my channel. If I ever do, by the way, you can tell this to me. You can tell me to delete your channel. You can remind me of that. That's how certain I am that this is an incredibly fucked up thing to have happened. Like, it's not worth it anymore, man. You are going to hurt people. You have said that you don't like drama. You have said that you want to get away from it. Just do it, man. Delete your channel. Delete it. It's probably for the best.